There's something strange about watching everyone else lose themselves in someone they'll never meet while you feel nothing, not judgment, not superiority. Just a quiet, confusing absence where everyone else seems to have this automatic fascination. They're screaming at screens, defending strangers online, organizing their emotions around people who don't know they exist. And you're standing there wondering, why doesn't this work on me? Here's what no one tells you: that absence. It's not emptiness. It's something far more complicated. You've probably tried to care. You've watched the games, followed the drama, scrolled through the headlines about who's dating who said what, who won what award. You understand intellectually why it matters to other people. But when you reach for that feeling, that electric connection, everyone else seems to have their nothing there to grab onto. And here's the thing: you've likely been made to feel like something's wrong with you for this. It's like you're cold, cynical, missing some essential human gene that makes life more colorful, more exciting, more alive. But here's what's fascinating. Your brain isn't broken. It's just wired to find meaning somewhere else. Let me explain. When most people obsess over celebrities, what they're really doing is outsourcing their emotional experience. Mirror neurons fire when they watch someone succeed or fail. Their nervous system responds as if they're the ones winning the championship, accepting the award, walking the red carpet. It's vicarious living, borrowed joy, borrowed triumph, borrowed significance. For you, though, that mechanism doesn't activate the same way. It's not because you can't feel deeply, but because your brain has learned that real connection, real meaning, real worth can't come from someone who exists only on a screen. This is where it gets complex. Often, this detachment forms early. Maybe you grew up watching the adults around you become consumed by things that ultimately didn't matter, losing themselves in distractions while real life went unattended. Maybe you learned somewhere deep in your developing nervous system that attention is precious, that where you place your focus determines the shape of your life. That giving your emotional energy to strangers feels like a betrayal of something more important. Or maybe you experienced disappointment young, believed in someone, a hero, an idol, a figure who seemed larger than life, and then watched them fall, reveal themselves to be painfully, ordinarily human. Your brain logged that lesson. Don't build your sense of self on someone else's mythology. So instead, you turned inward. You became someone who finds fascination in ideas, in craft, in the people right in front of you. You started measuring worth differently, not by visibility, but by substance. Not by who knows you, but by what you actually create, learn, become. But here's the truth. This comes with a cost you don't always acknowledge. While everyone else is bonding over shared obsessions, dissecting the game, debating performances, creating community around collective fascination, you're often on the outside of that. You're watching people connect over something that feels to you fundamentally hollow. And you can't fake enthusiasm for something your nervous system rejects. This creates a peculiar kind of loneliness, not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of being surrounded by people who are emotionally invested in a reality you QA and access. You smile and nod when they talk about their favorite athlete's latest achievement. You understand it matters to them, but you can't feel why it should matter to you. And over time, this shapes how you relate to the world. You become someone who values depth over spectacle, substance over performance. The quiet, unglamorous work of showing up for real people in real time. You're unimpressed by fame because you've learned that visibility isn't the same as value. Your brain is protecting you from what it perceives as a waste of precious emotional bandwidth. It's saying, these people don't know you. They won't be there when you need them. Why should their wins or losses dictate your emotional weather? Maybe that's wisdom. Maybe that's emotional intelligence. In a culture that constantly asks you to care about things that do unactually affect your life. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes what looks like immunity is actually armor. Sometimes the inability to invest emotionally in distant figures is connected to a deeper difficulty investing emotionally at all. If you've learned that caring leads to disappointment, your nervous system might have quietly decided, better to care about nothing too much, better to stay safe in detachment. So you watch yourself remain unmoved while others weep over retirements, scandals, victories, and you wonder, am I more evolved or am I just more defended? The psychology behind this runs deeper than preference. It touches attachment theory, how you learn to regulate emotion, where you decided it was safe to place your hope. For some people, celebrities become transitional object-safe containers for big feelings because they can't hurt you back. For you, that never made sense. You needed your feelings to go somewhere real or nowhere at all. None of this makes you better or worse than anyone else. It just makes you different. And the truth is, there's profound sanity in refusing to organize your inner life around someone else's curated image. There's strength in knowing that your worth isn't measured by proximity to fame, that your joy doesn't depend on someone else's performance. Your sense of meaning comes from what you build with your own hands. So here's what I want you to hear. That strange absence you feel when everyone else is swept up in celebrity worship. It's not coldness, it's not cynicism, it's not a deficit. It's your nervous system's way of saying, I need something more real than this. You're someone who refuses to mistake visibility for substance, performance for presence, fame for value. And in a world that constantly sells you the opposite, that takes a quiet kind of courage. Maybe you're not missing something. Maybe you're just paying attention to what actually matters to the people in front of you, the work in your hands, the life you're building one unglamorous, uncelebrated day at a time. Maybe that's not absence at all. Maybe that's presence. Here's what I want to know. First, when did you realize you were different in this way? And second, do you see it as a strength or a limitation? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to understand how this shows up for different people. I'm building something here for those of us who see the world a little differently. And I think you belong here.